It's time for the Art Fight recap! Yes. The way this is gonna work is first I'm gonna cover the attacks Yo launched against me, and then I'm going to cover all 50 because I actually hit the goal of doing 50 attacks I launched upon others. We'll open up the relevant Art Fight page, and then I will display the image larger off to the side so you can get a good look at it, and for the ones that I did where it was a GIF attack, I will have the video version so it's not scrunched. And yeah. Let's look back upon the art that was fought. I had a lot of fun this year, and I hope you guys did too. Also hope that Team Tragedy was at the very least second place, if not first, because it'd be great if my team won first time around, but we'll see. We're going in approximately reverse chronological order this time, starting with the final attack I received during the last live stream of Art Fight. From Reagan, we have me amidst the observable universe. Editing me, remember to slap the art up on the side so they can get a nice look upon it. Once more, very much thank you. I do quite like it. It's been a long time since I was larger than the observable universe. Fun times. No, but really, thank you. Continuing backwards in time, from Tappyworm. In Revengeance, for the Kurapeko character I did, we have this depiction of my form, which I do quite like, again. It gives me, like, grunge vibes, like, not music genre, grudge. Wait, is it grudge or grunge? Whatever. Japanese horror movie, Ring, adjacent. You know what I mean? It gives me that kind of vibe, and I really like it for that. Though the second version of me down there is looking a little saucy. Just saying. Why you do me like that? Again, I really love the light reflection on the eye. It is very nice. And I do thank you once again. Further back from that, we have Via Pig or Mud Puddles. Site doesn't want to load. Apologies. We have Via Pig, aka Mud Puddles, T-pose to assert dominance, revenge upon me. It's marked as for the Via Pig one I did for them, but I've done multiple attacks to which this is a vengeance upon. Again, I do really like this one too. The eye, especially, the rendering on it is immaculate. I really like it. That's all I can really say. Because, I have gushed before. Gushing again feels a little weird, but I do greatly enjoy it. And funny thing about the T-posing to assert dominance, that is actually the default pose of this model because it is a VRM model. I manually set my arms to be at this resting position. So that's kind of funny how that lines up. But yes, once again, thank you, Mud Puddles, or thank you, Via. However. And also thank you for the entertaining streams throughout the course of Art Fight. It was fun hanging out. Anyway, onwards. Nextwardly onto the past, from Asus. I believe in Revengeance, yes, Revengeance for their bear character. We have this one. And a very heartwarming message again, which I'm going to slide across so you guys can see it again because this means a lot again. I do very much appreciate it. Artwork, fantastical, yes. Make sure you display this, editor me. which I know you will. It's going to be in like 3 seconds. I'm recording these in segments. Anyway, thank you very much again, Asus. Yeah. uh, Up next in the reversions of the chronological, from the dumb Kai, we have this little doodle upon me, which I believe Jay Jester sparked them to do. I don't know for sure. Either way, thank you very much. Throughout a lot of art fight, I was very much sleepy. Why are the words failing to load again? I'm supposed to be a YouTuber. Why can I not think of things to say and commentary upon? I appreciate very much, but words fail to formate in my brain hole. Why doth I remain incapable of the articulations of the expressionations of my appreciations? Why? Why? As we are going in the reverse of the chronological, we shall now look upon Epix Pineapple's completed version first. Again, I really appreciate the dragon form artworks. You guys took a throwaway, semi-joking line in the character description and ran with it in a lot of fun ways. I say a lot, but it feels like a lot. I really like this one. It is fun. I say that about all of them, but I do. I do. But as I said last time, I did a little reactification on this one. I do like how you flip the mouth around and have the eye on the inside, because it reminds me of Beetlejuice, and the rib back spines remind both of trying to become a wing, but also it reminds me of Lagiacrus, which is my favorite Monster Hunter monster, and I really like it. And yeah, words. Why do they continually escape me these past 2 days? Anyways, let's look at the sketch version real quick, because it is quite cool that you sent me both the sketch and the finished version. I do like that. That was fun. Seeing the design change, the little bit of design changes with it was interesting too. How you were originally going to have like nostril snouts. Did you actually? Hang on. Yeah, so you did scrap the nostril things on the bottom of the jaw, and you changed the shape of the back spines from your initial conception. I don't think I realized that before. That's cool. Once again, thank you, Epix Pineapple. Now, further on, back throughout time, we have the Jade Jester and their secondary revengeance upon my initial revengeance upon their revenge. Or art attack, you know what I mean. The first to do the dragon form, which I do really like. I said it before, but I do like how you put the eye on top of the head like that. Genuinely didn't cross my mind to think of doing something like that. I like it a lot. Yeah. I do genuinely enjoy the design. And I think, and again, both of you took the throwaway line about a dragon form and did some cool stuff with it, and I greatly appreciate it. Next wordly across our endeavorossitudes into out the past. From Root Beer Opossum, their second attack upon me, they made a character reference sheet for the cat that they made in the first attack that they did. Which, again, is very fun, and I do intend to do something with this cat character beyond just her. Alongside actually giving it a name, I will figure out and rework the lore for it. You know what? I think what I will do here soonish is do another live stream where I firstly make the alt model based off of a different attack we'll see here soonish, and also make this character and do some other things to work to make a essentially better streaming setup, visually at least, and I will have this character this cat that I need to figure out a name for, be perched upon the stream chat. And then while we're working on that, we'll talk about what little lore I have of, my stuff. Anyways, again, thank you very much, Root Beer Opossum. Trompsing further back along the axis of time upon which we transit, but in the inverse direction, we have the Feeling Dapper from Conut Conut. I actually said it right this time. Not Coconut, it's Conut. I continually said that wrong throughout all of Art Fight. My apologies. Was this revengeance? Yes, it was. No, I revenged upon this. Okay. Still, thinked ye very much. Honestly, I might either, I don't know if it'd be a full alt model, but like an outfit variation. I might do a stack of hats like this too. I don't know. We'll see how my, enhancing setup streams go that I just talked about. But yes, I do very much enjoy this one. It is quite fun. And I thank you as well, yet again. Conut, Conut. Say it right, you fool. Alright. Now, ever backwards and further on upon the preponderance of time, from the Jade Jester, we have their initial attack upon me, imagining the dragon form that they would eventually create a separate artwork for. I do, again, I really like this one. I think, I like this one especially because it induced the idea to do the dragon forms. But also, I just think the art of me imagining the dragon form is very cute and fun, and I like it a lot. And it was upon this one that I revenge your character, that you would then later revenge back upon me with the other dragon form art. But yes, thank you once again, Jade Jester. And now, traversing further back along the timeline, we have this depiction of me from the Argo Ninja. After I attacked their Toga character, after I found their streams one day upon looking for people to listen to while doing attacks. And again, I quite like it. I find the... Firstly, I like the wiggliness you have done within my arm tendrils, and I also quite like the chromatic aberrations in your, like, shading aura thing you did. It is fun. Sorry I didn't get to watch as many of your streams as I did some others, but they were fun and entertaining as well. And, yeah. Now, going even further back in time, we have Modern Problems' attack upon me, in which they turned me into a member of the Black Arms, in revengeance for doing their Roach character, which was quite fun. I do very much find this one enjoyable. I am admittedly a bit of a semi-LARPer when it comes to Sonic, having only ever fully completed Sonic Colors. I've played a handful of other Sonic games off and on, but never too much farther in. Not played any of the Shadow ones, but I know what the Black Arms are, roughly. And I think making my character into one of them was a pretty fun choice. And I do enjoy it. I believe it was roughly this point back along the stream of chronology that I was included in upon a multi-attack. By the Weeping Angel Mother, we have this depiction of me. According to the lore provided, this character here, the other one in the attack, was doing Pokemon Go's in an abandoned building, upon which, unbeknownst, eyeball creature behind them Worry not, though, for I'm just there playing the other Nictic game, Monster Hunter Now. And there's an Elder Dragon interception in like 2 minutes. We chill. Jokes about the setup aside, I do really like this one. I think it's funny. Me looming behind them with a "there's something behind me, isn't there?" face. It is hilarious every time I look at it. Thank you again. And now we continue further back along the annals of history, thrusting deep into the past. So stupid. Anyway, from the cheese, we have this ink sketch of me, which I very much like. It is, I've said this before, but I very much like that ink hatching style you chose to go about this one with. It is quite fun, quite spooky. I like it. Yeah, I was just pausing for a moment to show off the art at this point because I don't know what more to say that I haven't already said. But I do, again, enjoy it. Thank you again, the cheese. Next wordily or mayhapsitude prior from Mumu C27. Formerly, for those of you who followed ArtFi, who have seen my not ArtFi, who have seen my community art showcases videos, Mumu C27 is the artist formerly known as Obese Rat 44. They changed it, but I figured I should say that so they have a proper appreciated credit. But yes, from them we have Megamoog, which is one I am quite likely to create a alt model for. Like I said, I'm planning on doing a stream soon-ish, no idea when exactly, where I create a alt VTube model based off of this and model the cat that Root Beer Possum made and discuss the loose amalgamations of ideas of lore for my character and the various extra normal planes of existence therein association, along with the Department of Extra Normal Affairs and all of that. Anyways, again, as I have said a couple times in previous, it is fun and I enjoy. If I didn't, I wouldn't plan to make an alt model. Anyways, thank you again, Moo. But I've said that a couple times now in regards to this one. Further progressing backward into the history of what was thought by art, we have one of the 2 attacks on Human, the other character I listed, by Lolly Dino, whichever 2 ways it is meant to be pronouncealized, dancing across the cosmos with their new kicks. I find the fact that you gave Human shoes hilarious. And for those of you who don't remember or haven't seen them, Human is the one character I made that occasionally I'll stick in some random videos that has the weird Morphous face and is some kind of unknowable eldritch being that just appears sometimes and is there. And I do not understand or know what they are. Sometimes I don't even put them in my videos and they're still there and I have no idea how or why or what ancient horrors I may have unleashed, but it happened, so we just gotta deal with that. But again, thank you, Lolly Dino, however you're supposed to say, however the Y is meant to be. I do enjoy. And secondly, from the firstified, from Root Beer Opossum, we have their initial attack uponst me. Upon which, I think this was done during one of my first art fight streams. I'm not 100% sure which one. But I do very much enjoy them. And it inspired the creation of the cat character you made, which, again, very fun and shall be integrated into the loose collection of ideas of my world's formation upon another time, upon another stream, which hopefully you'll be able to be there for, because idea bouncing is fun. And it's the part of writing I'm the best at, which is why my lore has yet to be fully codified. Regardless, thank you very much once again. And finally, at the end, which is in fact the beginning, as though time has been shifted in the inversitude of the linear structures, we have Human from Blue, who was also the first person I ever attacked, I believe. And they did a gif of Human cycling through his various head-shaped facial expressions, as well as the eye colors cycling forth. Which, again, it was really cool to see this as as the first attack I got. And thank you again for it, Blue. It was... Honestly, I wasn't expecting this anomaly to be the first thing to be attacked, when I thought at least Eyeball Monster would be a bit more interesting, but I suppose his expressions won them over. Regardless, I do think it is very fun, and I'm glad I got at least a few attacks on Human. I have extolled my excitement upon this one several times before, however, so I've kind of bled out all of the whoa energy I can induce. That said, again, I do still very much like and enjoy it, and I do still very much thank you, Blue. And now we shall invert our inversion of the chronological structurings of our linear time-space, and instead of performing the analysis of the attacks that were attacked upon, we shall instead go in the order of the attacks that were attacking. In other words, we're going to go from oldest to newest on the attacks. Given that pretty much all of these attacks were done on camera, except for the two that I accidentally didn't hit record on, or it didn't record correctly on, but even still, those are still on my channel, we're going to speed through these, especially as I managed to achieve 50 of them, which I'm still pretty happy about. So unless there's things of particular note to remark uponst with them, we're just gonna say, here's the person I attacked, here's the attack I attacked him with, and lightning round this. So first off, the very first attack I did for Art Fight, against Blue's Vessel OC, I did this little animation. And then they revenged me with that Human art. For the doings of my secondary attack, and one of the two attacks I did on the first Art Fight live... Sorry, 3 attacks I did on the first Art Fight live stream, I did Bird's Nest's Bingle character. Never mind, I was misremembering. The first Art Fight stream, there was only 2 attacks. And the second one was on Megabyte Watskin's character here. And then after that, it was Sentient Mushroom's Wizard Snail, the first one that I manually created the rig for, though far from the last. After that was Nightshade Art's Mr. Bon, that I had standing on top of my noggin. Then we had the first double character attack I did on Axel742's Wasp and Aphid Hollow Knight OCs. And then, after that, it was Midnight Dreamer 666's Jacko character, which I don't think the short for that one got too many views, which sad, because I was pretty happy with how this one turned out. Another one of the ones I started manually creating the rig for. Then was my attack on Mumu C27, where I did the Predator handshake meme, although I'm not as happy with how this one turned out than I was with some others. Then on a live stream where I first started experimenting with the gimmick of letting you guys make me go play video games in the middle of an art fight attack, I did Cheddar Cheese's Cheddar Cheese, snake made out of cheddar cheese. He was a fun character. Then I did Snazzy's character Sunny, trying to get back into pixel art, but I was pretty rusty with it, and I don't think I went back and did another pixel art after this one. And then, oh yeah, I attacked Loli Dino with this one first, and the human one they did for me was a revenge. I missed that a minute ago. Yeah, I attacked their Casey character, Wizard Candle. After that, on another stream, I did another Hollow Knight OC by Loogie Berry, their Oma Vessel character, which I thought was a pretty interesting character design idea. Then after that, I attacked another Hollow Knight character. Ha Hins is Henry. I think this one was not on a stream. This one might have been on a stream, though. I can't remember. And then I did Jim X's Qbert, which I actually didn't realize Qbert had an eye until I was 90% done with this one. And then I actually looked deeper, clicked on the second image, and saw it was a GIF of the eye appearing and disappearing. So I made the eye on the opposite side of the cube, so when the cube swirled around, you'd see the eye. At first, I thought it was legitimately just blue cube, which is why I initially started to do it, because I thought that was funny. And then, I believe the first time I saw the Argo Ninja streaming, I got their art fight from that, and did their Tuga character here, which is the, what was it, I think, Steel Defender, I think is the name of the thing, for their Artificer character. And then they got me back by doing their Moga, whatever. And then the first of the two that didn't record, I did Nautily's In Spiral Tail Grillbee, which combined Gurren Lagann and Undertale, which really cool. And this one fought me very hard to get done, so I am very annoyed that it didn't record properly. I went through quite a few different poses and framings to eventually land on this. And then the first Worm on a String OCs I did a multi-attack on Stardoodle's 012's Whirl and Mr. Clowny, which I almost forgot to have the hat on Mr. Clowny. I caught that last second and I had to re-render it. But for some reason, the texture paint of the red dots that were supposed to be under Clowny's eyes, like the texture paint is there, it had it, but for some reason, when I rendered, it didn't render it with that specific part of the texture paint, but it did with everything else, and I don't know why, still. After that, the first of the two attacks I did on Modern Problems, and they were actually in the live stream watching this one and helping me get their character design right. I did their Roach character, Alcoholic Haunted Scarecrow, which I really liked the original art for that one. And then I did my attack on Root Beer Opossum in revengeance for their initial trolling of me. And then they later revenged upon that with their character sheet for the cat that they made in the first one. And I did their Jake character. Then the second or third, depending on how you want to count on it, Worm on a String I did was Lava Plume's Bubble. Then I did Mola Molotov's Shrub the Bush Sheep, a character I'd actually bookmarked pretty early on in its art fight, but hadn't got to until about half-ish way through, I want to say. And then after that is where I finally figured out how I was going to do my attack on Via, or Mud Puddle. I had been watching her streams for a while at this point, and I knew I wanted to do an attack on them, but it was a struggle figuring out how, until I eventually decided to try my hand at doing a low poly art style, which I think ended up working really well. And I actually got this one finished during one of their streams, where when I uploaded it, I got to hear them react to it live, which was really fun. Technically, their attack on me was listed as revenge for this one specifically, but it was kind of for all of the ones I did towards them, because I gave them a few more afterwards. Then was the first, I believe, yeah, the first 2D Worm on a String OC I did, Exelon's Slink, which I believe I did this one during a stream as well. And I believe on that same stream I worked on but didn't render Local Shade's Shell Vessel OC, but I might be wrong on that. After that, Modern Problems had done their revengeance on me of the Black Arms Moga one that they did that we showed off. And so I revengeanced that revenge with this revengeling of the revenge. Vengeance. But once I finished doing the model, which I also did as another low poly design, I didn't really know what to do with it, so I kind of just did the I must go now, my people need me. After that, I found a fellow that was a little bit fleshy, that being a fleshy fella's glooper, and put them in a nebulous science tube of nebulous mad sciencings. After that, I had a random bout of insomniatic restlessness, and I ended up catching Black Taros Warriors live stream at, I want to say, like 1 a.m. for me at some point. And I ended up doing their character from that. And then during another one of Mud Puddle streams, I ended up developing an idea from what little I had heard of her Orangy Orchard setting at that point, and ended up making a Design a Pig OC for that. Though I didn't think it was going to actually get canonized because it was not normal the kind of thing that would be in that setting, but they actually figured out a way to make the lore work, which was really cool. And then on another live stream, I did what was supposed to be a revenge attack on the Jade Jester for their first Mogart drawing, the sketch thinking about the dragon form, but I forgot to hit the button that says that it was a revenge. So it's technically not a revenge, even though it is, but you know. And then this is the one that they did the full dragon form drawing in Revengeance of. On my revenge, that's not actually revenge on their Ophelia character, which I still can't hear the name Ophelia without thinking of Brutal Legend, but that's another matter. After that, I did Tappy Worm's Kurapeko character, which I just decided to randomly see if anyone had any Monster Hunter OCs, and I saw a Kurapeko character, and it had been a while since I tried to draw a Kurapeko. Last time it was not nearly as good as this one, and pretty much as simple as there. And then they did their attack on me in revengeance for this. And then for Elusive Owl's Worm character, since I have just relatively recently got caught up on Jujutsu Kaisen, I decided to do their Worm on a String around me and my Monster Hunter get up as, you know, in reference to Toji and their worm, because I thought that might look cool. And I think it kind of does, even if I do have my head shape a little off in this one. And then I did Pastillaris's Pastillacaris, an OC from the Cambrian Explosion. I lost track of where I put the Bill Wurst clip, so meh. It was fun to do. And then after that, I did Asus's bear character because I was looking for robots because robots are easier to model, and I ended up stumbling across this Metal Sonic style bear badnik character, which I thought was cool looking. And then they swung back at me in revengeance for this with that attack we saw earlier with that wonderfully kind missiles. And then, yeah. After doing that one, I wanted to do another Badnik character because I was in the mood for Sanic. So I did Trin Blue Phoenix's Spike Hog. I'm not going to go through the full name. It's right above my head if you want to see. I ended up also importing a Source Filmmaker map for this one because I wanted to experiment with doing that. And then, because I was starting to feel a little bit burnt out, but still wanted to do an art fight attack that day, I looked for very simple characters and found I'm no good at this is Sabertha, and then made the fuzzy little thing. This one actually had a weird issue with the rendering. I'm not sure what I did here. I put in a just paper texture background I have, and because of that, it did something weird where it clipped the top and bottom of the render. I don't know why. After that, I started really playing with the new rendering nodes that got added in Blender when it updated right around as these attacks were happening. When I did Bubble Ice 720's Gummy and Chorzy characters, really played around with the new paint compositing filter and some other stuff there, rim lighting and the like. Then right after that, I did another double worm on a string doing Muddy Bros, Izuku, and Hiyoshi. Still probably not saying that right, but whatever. Then I hit another late night insomnia burst and did several different attacks within the same night, starting off with doing my revenge on Conut's Dapper Moog with this one, doing their, I'm not going to even try to pronounce that, I'm going to get it wrong, character. Look, I'm tired, okay? I've been recording for 5 hours. Actually, I just looked at the clock, make that 6 hours. But anyways, up next was my revenge on the Cheese's ink scrolling that we saw, where I did the sconed, whatever. Again, it's been, I've been recording for a long time at this point. Y'all, if you haven't liked and subscribed, do that, please. Make this worth it. I'm next thing, which is my revengeation on Epic Pineapple 2763's, who was the one who did the more twisted dragon form that we saw earlier, both the sketch and finished version. I did their character here, their Celeste. Yeah, Celeste. And I half accidentally, and then when I was halfway through, realized what I was doing and made it intentionally, made him baby. And this is the other one that didn't record properly. Then afterward, in what was Mudpuddle's final stream for Art Fight, they were basically said something along the lines of if they, didn't get any new attacks in past what they were showing off, then that would be it because this was the last stream. And then I got the idea to do one more silly pig character that I could do really quickly. And then I started ominous posting in the chat while I was talking about it, like, it is beginning. It's charging 17 out of 100 when the frames were rendering, stuff like that. And then I posted this and was like, check your art fight, and heard everyone start cackling. And then apparently they pretty much immediately began to create the lore around this, but I had to go and do other stuff at that point, so. And then we come to what might honestly be my favorite attack I've done throughout Art Fight. Because for the entirety of Art Fight, I kind of did want to do a spaceship. And I finally found someone who had a spaceship, namely Bijan, up there with their Void Break craft. And I did this. I slapped the Star Blazers theme song on the short for it. That short didn't do well for some reason, but I really liked how it turned out. And then I did Bubble Ice 720's other worm character, Zemo, but I did this one as a 2D artwork. And actually, I think literally right as I posted this, they left a comment on the first one of their worm OCs I did. And I was like, hey, funnily enough, I accidentally just launched another attack on another one of your worms. So. And then we come to the interesting ending of Art Fight. For you see, throughout a lot of Art Fight, I had semi-jokingly, semi-seriously set a goal of doing 50 attacks. And I was at 40-something. And on the last day that I would be doing Art Fight, I decided to end it off with a stream, and I absolutely locked in, and I in fact did it. I achieved the goal of 50 attack. And I started on Wilka's Zendo, or Vito. For the second attack that it was attacked on the ending of the attacking, on Mr. Starman's Jerry Rig, I did this, which I actually bookmarked several AdMech characters, and I want to do some of those next Art Fight. But this was the only one that had a simple enough design I felt I could get it done within a reasonable time frame. Behold, the horrors of the 42nd millennium. This is what aspiring to the purity of the machine gets you. If you are going to become cyberpunk, also embrace the biopunk. Become both flesh and machine monstrosity. Yes. I don't know what I'm even saying at this point. I am very tired. But we push on, much as I pushed on in that stream. And we target at and attack English. Jeebles, fleebles. Anyways, next up from that stream, I attacked Atomic Rose, Short Rob. And I did this GIF with the like static overlay filter thing using the night vision node that got added. I'm experiencing internal discomfort from using an entire Carolina Reaper in my ramen. But anyways, from for this one of the others we did in that stream, Cove Coca-Cola's Cave the Fluffy Worm, another worm on a string that I did little animation of. Yes. And then further on in that stream we did Grady animates this coffee cup character, which apparently reminds them of Courage the Cowardly Dog, but that was one of those that I only occasionally caught a random episode or two and got mild trauma from as a child. Trauma that was repressed and forgotten long ago, so I don't remember much about that show. Second to last on the final stream, we did Who's Rio's Millie character here. Another worm on the string that I 2D'd. Not much to say on this one, but yeah. 49th attack. Almost there. And finally, at the culmination of the stream and the art fighting, we did Aerosauce's Prince Rupert's Drop Swarm. Which honestly is a cool idea to combine Worm on a String and a Rupert's Drop. I think that's kind of neat. Gives me zooluminology vibes. Like it. Yeah, we did it! 50 attacks! The goal was successfulized. I had a lot of fun doing Art Fight this year. Honestly, I probably should have joined last year now that I know what this is like, and I definitely intend to take part in next year's Art Fight. You know, future uncertainties notwithstanding. I had a lot of fun, and I hope that you guys did as well, both of those of you who were participating in Art Fight and those of you watching me participate in the fighting of the art. For those of you who found me during Art Fight, I hope you stick around. And for those of you who have been here since before the Art Fight, I hope you also stick around. If you haven't yet, consider the liking, the subscribing, the commentations. YouTube switched to a entirely AI-driven algorithm, apparently, which is now even more dependent on you leaving interactions with the video to make it be seen at all, so I'd appreciate that. It's probably actually when I lost those 1,000 watch hours, it was probably when they were starting to make that transition and that they just, whatever. Again, I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed both, everything leading up and this recapification of the summations. And, yeah, I'm go to the outro now because I brain not wording any more than it has been throughout this entire thing. So, what are you still doing here? The video's over. There might be some for you up there or some for you over there, but there's nothing left here, so hit the YouTube buttons and move on.